All right, let's talk about what's really going on with AI right now. There are these incredible trends that are creating this massive, but kind of temporary window of opportunity. We're going to look at how you can literally build a company in a single morning. But we also have to talk about why that same speed is creating brand new dangers. Seriously, the whole landscape is shifting under our feet. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so here's the plan. First, we'll hit the new speed of business. Then we'll see how that leads to these wild new agent economies. After that, we're going to get into how this flips the whole idea of what's valuable on its head. Of course, we have to cover the dangers lurking in all this. And we'll wrap up with a pretty urgent point. Why your window to get in on this is closing fast. So let's start with the most obvious thing, the one change that I think we're all feeling. And that's just the insane new speed of business. I mean, think about it. What used to take months, maybe even a full year, going from just an idea to actually having a paying customer, well, now that can all happen in a single morning. So what if you could build a complete company in just 1 hour? And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi thing. It's actually becoming a reality, thanks to what people are calling the 1-hour company stack. The idea is pretty simple, really. You take a thought, an idea, and you use AI to kind of vibe code it. You just describe what you want in plain English until, poof, it exists. You can launch it to customers before you even break for lunch. It is an absolute game changer. Just look at this comparison. It's wild. The old way, you're talking months, maybe a whole year before you see a single dollar in revenue. Now, you can get real feedback from paying customers and be working on the next version all before lunch on day one. And this is all possible because of two key things: these incredible new platforms that let you build stuff with AI agents, and, this is crucial, having an audience ready and waiting. But okay, this new speed, it's not just about building the same old things, only faster. No, it's about building entirely new kinds of businesses. We're talking about businesses where our own creations, these AIs, start to have a life of their own. And this brings us to our next big idea, the rise of agent economies. So this leads to a concept called ambient businesses. Think about this for a second. Imagine setting up a company where AI agents just run the show. They're monitoring the market, they're handling customer service, they're executing tasks, and your job? You just check in every few days to see how things are going. I mean, if you look at where the arrow of progress is pointing, it's pointing directly at this. And, this isn't coming out of nowhere. It's really just the next logical step in how digital economies have evolved. First, right, we had the App Store era, where humans were downloading and using apps. Then came the API economy, where developers were the ones wiring everything together behind the scenes. And now we are entering the agent economy, where AIs themselves will discover and hire other AIs to get a job done. And trust me, this is not some tiny niche idea. Gartner is projecting a $52 billion market for this agent-to-agent commerce, and that's by 2030. That's a huge new economy popping up out of thin air. And just think about the opportunities that creates, right? Someone is going to have to build the glass door for AI agents so we can all figure out which ones are actually reliable and which ones aren't. So picture a company's About Us page a year or two from now. Instead of that classic grid of smiling human faces, you might just see 1 or 2 people at the top, acting more like film directors. And the rest of the team? It's a whole crew of named AI agents handling sales, development, marketing, you name it. This is what we mean by a ghost team. It's the new org chart. Okay, so what happens when all these agents are doing the work and actually executing on an idea becomes, well, basically free? The fundamental laws of business value get totally flipped on their head. What we think is valuable, and more importantly, what we're willing to pay a premium for, is going through this absolutely massive shift. This is what we're calling the big scarcity flip. Think about it. AI is commoditizing all the generic stuff. Basic content, simple design, data entry, all of that is becoming cheap or even free. So where does the value go? It shifts to the things that are uniquely human. Things like creative judgment, truly original and kind of weird thinking, and real-world physical experiences. Those become the new premium goods. And this creates a whole new stack, a new hierarchy of value. So at the very top, the absolute most premium stuff is going to be anything that's certified 100% human-made. Think of like a no AI label. Then, in the middle, you'll have premium, AI-assisted but human-led stuff, where you get human taste combined with AI speed. And then at the bottom, you've got the commodity level, fully AI-generated services. And this isn't just a theory, it's already starting to happen. You see brands like Porsche running ads that really lean into their human-made craftsmanship. It's totally possible that a no AI logo could become the next organic label. You know, a real status symbol that signals authentic, human-made quality. But okay, with all of this incredible new power comes a whole new set of dangers, new vulnerabilities. We're essentially building our future on an entirely new attack surface. And honestly, the world of cybersecurity is still playing catch-up. I mean, think about what we're doing. We're giving these AI agents access to our files, our code, our private communications, our bank accounts. That creates an enormous amount of risk. We're talking about scary-sounding stuff like prompt injections, where someone can trick an agent with hidden commands, or feeding it poisoned training data that secretly messes with its decision-making down the line. Here's a good way to think about it. Poisoning an agent's context window with some hidden instructions, that's basically the new phishing, but it's so much more dangerous. With old-school phishing, you had to trick a human into clicking a bad link. Now, you're tricking an autonomous agent that might have the keys to your entire kingdom. The potential for damage is just way, way bigger. So, what does this mean for you and me? It means we all need to start practicing some really good digital hygiene for our agents. You have to constantly ask yourself these 4 critical questions about any agent you use. Number 1, what can it access? Files, emails, bank accounts. 2, what can it remember? Your conversations, personal data. 3, what can it actually do? Can it send emails, buy things, change code? And 4, what can it share and with whom? Seriously, reviewing these permissions is going to become just as important as changing your passwords. All right, let's bring this all together. What's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it's that there's a real, palpable sense of urgency right now. We are in this incredibly unique moment in time, what you'd call an asymmetric opportunity. But this window, it is definitely closing. The economics of these new agent-first businesses are just completely different from anything we've seen before. When agents are doing most of the heavy lifting, your costs just plummet. And that allows for profit margins that would have been absolutely unthinkable a few years ago. I mean, we're talking as high as 95%. This creates such an incredible opportunity, but it's for the people who jump in now. Look, if you're one of those people waiting for things to settle down a bit, I've got bad news. They won't. This chaos, this speed, this is the new normal. Over the next 12 to 24 months, the best niches are going to get claimed. The early builders are going to establish moats around their data, their brand, and the trust they've built. And it's going to be really hard to catch up later. So this is the asymmetric bet that's sitting right in front of all of us. Let's break it down. Your input, it's ridiculously low. An API key, a few clever prompts, and a small niche audience, maybe a few hundred, a few thousand people. And the potential output, a business that runs 24/7, pulling in those 95% margins with compounding growth, and maybe 0 employees. That is the definition of an asymmetric opportunity. So this is the moment, right now. You don't need to be an expert on every single tool that comes out. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start building something. The most asymmetric opportunity in a generation is right here, right now. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with it?